Hi team, Coach Alexa here, coach for Reading, South Oxfordshire and online. Third video today in my series on sleep. And I'm going to be talking about a particular set of tactics that can be useful to improve the quality and quantity of the sleep that you get of an evening, and that is having a bedtime routine. So there are loads of things, aren't they, that we think, we were encouraged to do by our parents, perhaps as children, or we do with the children that we have in our families. And it makes sense. You think that's a great thing, very healthy for children to ensure they have good sleep and recover and brain development and all this sort of stuff. And then we kind of tend to, I don't know whether we forget about it or we assume that it doesn't matter anymore as adults, and that couldn't be further from the truth. There are so many good habits that we try and encourage in our youngsters that we could really do with hanging on to and taking a bit more seriously as we progress into adulthood. And bedtime routines is one of them. We are creatures of habit, and we can accidentally train ourselves into bad habits, but it also means we can consciously train ourselves into good habits. So a bedtime routine has been shown to improve the quality and quantity of our sleep. What does that mean in reality? It means maybe planning out the hour or 2 hours before bed to create a routine that you try and stick to as much as possible. So trying to stick to a similar time where you actually go to bed is really useful. In similar ways to children, it just sets that expectation that programs the brain that at around this time we will be going to bed, and soon after that we'll be falling asleep. And because we are such creatures of habit, if you practice that regularly enough, it will become a reality, and we'll be able to consistently fall asleep around that time more quickly. But it also means there's a kind of like a sort of preparation stage for our brains, similar to toddlers, is that you're setting expectations with your brain and body through going through a series of kind of bedtime routine steps or stages that you're going to go to sleep soon. So you're kind of helping the body get into that sleep mindset and physically prepare for sleep. So you want to think about doing things that are progressively calmer. So you don't necessarily want to be, I don't know, watching something terrifying on television or listening to, upbeat music and dancing around the living room like a lunatic. You want to kind of think about how you can gradually chill things out throughout that hour or two before bed. So from a physical activity point of view, it's one of the reasons why training later on in the evening isn't great. We've lifted our heart rate, we've lifted our muscle activation, we've energized the body and the nervous system. We've also raised our core body temperature by training. And actually when we're getting ready for bed, our core body temperature naturally drops as we get into this more of a sleepy state. So thinking about chilled stuff that you can do, and that varies differently for everybody. As in my previous videos, thinking if you can find a way of reducing the amount of screen time in that hour or two before bed. Less of this blue light into your eyes can increase sleepiness, and now as we're heading into the summer and those daylight hours are getting wonderfully longer, as we head more towards the shortest day around the 21st of June, it might be worth drawing the curtains early at about 9 o'clock, just getting a little bit less of that daylight through our windows, getting that brain a little bit more into sleep mode, reducing those natural light sources and the screen time, blue light from the screens, that's going to keep us awake a little bit more. It might be listening to some calming music, reading a good book that you're enjoying, having a little bit of a chat with whatever person you might live with or somebody on the phone. It might be having a bit of a bath or a shower, having a little routine of things that you just kind of step through. After a few weeks will basically become autopilot. And you train your brain basically. So, oh, right, we're doing this, and now I know we go to bed. So for me, I think I've mentioned in previous videos, so somewhere around sort of 7:30, 8 o'clock, my phone gets put on a shelf. We might watch a little bit of television at the moment. Normally the telly's off at around 9, unless there's something particularly intriguing that I must watch post Watershed. After that, there's a little bit of downtime for chatting. I might potter around the house slightly, just kind of tidying up a few loose ends, kind of house admin wise, load the dishwasher or whatever. And then I often go up into the bathroom and get ready for bed. So that might be a little bit of a bath or a shower. It might be just sort of clean face and teeth and bits and pieces, depending on when I've trained that day. Sitting in bed for a little bit, I keep a journal or a diary, or what was previously referred to as a diary. So reviewing the day. I also use it as an opportunity for, if there are any thoughts buzzing around my head, to park them, write them down on a little bit of paper on my bedside table so that they're there for him in the morning and I don't have to continue pondering on them or worrying about them overnight. I read my book for a little bit with quite a low light on in the bedroom, and by that point my eyes are going and I fall asleep. So just an example there. Absolutely don't have to do what I do, but think about what you do in that hour or two before bed. Think about keeping it into a relatively similar routine with a similar time point as to when you actually go to bed, and think about how you can make it calmer mentally and physically, and reduce the blue light from screens and the daylight in your eyes. Those things overall will really help prepare your body better to get to sleep quicker and to sleep a little bit more soundly. Hope that's useful. Happy running.